Hello and good afternoon, yoga friends. Thank you so much for joining me. I know it might take a few minutes for you to connect in with me live, so don't worry, I'm going to be starting quite slowly today and going through some props that you might need, or you might decide that you don't need any props at all. And whenever you're ready, you just join in. We'll start, as I said, slowly. So I mentioned in a post a few minutes ago that you might like a chair. Totally optional, but a lot of the standing stuff that we're doing can be done in a chair. If you have a hard time getting up and down from the floor, you might also like to do some of our seated poses seated in the chair as opposed to on the floor. So that will be an option for you today. If you are coming a little closer to the floor, or you want something to bring your feet a little closer to the floor, you might decide that you would like to have a block. You might also like, and I forgot to mention this, a yoga strap. And that's just if it's hard for you to clasp your hands behind your back. You don't need it for anything else other than that. But if you don't have a yoga strap, anything that is relatively long. Some people use like a tube sock. You don't need a lot of space, maybe just the width of your shoulders, a little bit wider. A belt, a scarf, doesn't need to be something particularly fancy. The only other thing you might like is a bolster shaped item. A couch cushion, a longer pillow works great. We're going to put this under our knees towards the end of class. But again, you can do this entire class with none of these things. So if you don't have anything handy, don't worry. Just do what you can. You don't need a washcloth. This is because it is raining outside and I am soft and I have decided to let the cats inside. So in case they come in all muddy, like you might have noticed I'm wearing like very pale leggings. I have this ready for them. So unless you have a cat or a dog in your life, you don't need a washcloth. When you are ready, go ahead and come to a comfortable seated position. That could be on the floor, or you can sit in any way in your chair. I'm going to let this little guy have the chair. If you're using a prop to sit on the floor, you can do that as well. And relax your shoulders here. Relax your jaw and just take a moment to ensure that you're sitting in the way that actually feels the most comfortable, where you are the least distracted by the sensations of your body. So that might mean that once you start to settle in, you're like, oh, actually, I need to shift a little to the right, a little to the left. Take the time to find that comfortable spot. And as you find that comfortable spot, you just breathe. That's all you have to do. And then you notice that you are breathing. Maybe you can hear the sound of your own breath. If you happen to have an ujjayi breath in your practice, you are welcome to come into that now. The light contraction at the back of your throat, just helping to make that breath sound a little more audible. Now that you've taken a moment to hear your breath, maybe you begin to notice the sensation of your breath. What does your rib cage feel like as you breathe in? What do your shoulder blades feel like as you breathe out? Notice any changes in how your belly reacts to the inhale And the exhale. Spend a few more moments here just with your breath. If you notice your mind wandering off to other thoughts, other concerns, other worries, know that those will be there when you come back. You can take this time just to focus on this present moment. In fact, it is beneficial to take this time just to focus on your breath, on how your breath feels, how it sounds. Maybe even the temperature of it as it enters and leaves the body. As you are ready, blink your eyes open. Reach your arms up over your head. And as you inhale, reach a little more through your left hand as you lean a little to the right. And then reach a little more through your right hand as you lean a little bit to the left. It doesn't have to be a big movement, just so you start to feel a little bit of openness on the sides of your body. And it's like you're climbing that imaginary rope ladder side to side a few times. Range of motion, again, is not at all important. Does it feel stretchy to your body? That's what matters. Maybe one more on each side. When you're ready, you come back to the center line, you reach up. Maybe your gaze even follows as you inhale. And as you exhale, you bring your hands down to your sides. And go ahead here and make your way to standing. If you happen to be using a chair, I'm going to recommend that you place your chair at what you want to be the front of your mat here. So you could place your chair, I'm going to carefully move this little kitty, right up here at the front of your mat. I think you'll still be able to see that in the video here. But just to have it handy, you may or may not decide to use it for this next portion here. You can face towards your chair, or you can face the long edge of the mat here for this first little bit. I'm going to face the long edge of the mat so that we are virtually at least face to face. Take a moment as you come to standing and spread your toes nice and wide. Maybe you can even see some of the color of your mat between your toes. Relax your shoulders. Imagine that you're carrying 2 heavy milk jugs in your hands, and it just weighs your shoulders down a little bit. Make sure that there's some softness in your knees so that they are able to bend if you choose to bend them. And then as you take a deep breath in, bring your arms up over your head. As you breathe out, connect the palms of your hands together and draw your hands in front of your heart. We're just going to repeat that movement. Inhale, the arms come overhead. Again, range of motion is important. You might stop part way. And as you exhale, you are to bring the hands in front of the heart. The only important thing here is that as you do this, you're working to match the length of your inhale to the raising of your arms, and the length of your exhale to bringing your hands in front of your heart. So as you focus, this movement may become considerably slower. Work at your own pace. One more breath like this, matching the movement to the breath. And this time, as you bring your hands in front of your heart, you are going to fold forward. And as you fold forward, you could decide to place your hands on your thighs. You could decide to place your hands onto your chair or your forearms onto your chair. You go a little further down and place your hands to a block, or you could come all the way to the mat and simply dangle. Your feet can be the distance that is comfortable apart for your body. Your knees should be a little bit soft. You are welcome to move here, side to side, a little up and down. This should feel delightful. It should feel like a deep stretch in your spine. Take a few more breaths here. And let your head be heavy. You can tuck your chin a little towards your chest, regardless of whether you're way down here by the floor or if you are folded forward at your chair here. If the chin comes a little more towards the chest, you get a deeper stretch in your shoulders and in your back. Feel free to scoot as far as you need from the chair. And then as you're ready, you're going to make your way all the way up to standing. You can press down into your heels, soften your knees, and start to roll from the base of your spine back up. If you are holding on to something that's further away, like a chair, you can walk towards it as you come to standing. As you do reach standing, roll your shoulders back. Take a deep breath and bring your arms up over your head. As you exhale, bring your hands in front of your heart. Bend your knees a little bit, coming into your chair pose, your Utkatasana. Just looking down, to make sure that you can see your knees, or you can see rather your toes beyond your knees, so your knees are not blocking your toes. If you're using a chair, you might place your hands on the chair here. As you inhale, bring the center of your chest forward, bring your shoulders back. This is your standing cow pose. And then as you exhale, round a little forward, come into your standing cat pose. Inhale, cow. And exhale, pull your belly button towards your spine, cat. If you're not using the chair and you want to have little arms, as you inhale, you can open your arms like big wings. And as you exhale, you can draw your palms, your forearms, and your elbows together as you round inwards. Take a few deep breaths, moving gently here. Feel free at any time to straighten your legs if you need to, and just do the arm movements. This class is really just about feeling really good and stretched out in your body, like you've done enough work that at the end of this class you can really relax. We're not going to get out of breath or really sweat today. This is gentle and juicy. Maybe another deep breath here. Round everything in. Stay for a moment in that cat-shaped pose. Hug your palms, your elbows, and your forearms together, or squeeze your shoulder blades together if you're holding onto the chair or onto the thighs. Take a deep breath in here. Keep rounding the spine forward. And then release on your exhale. Press into the heels of the feet. Come all the way up to standing if you have not already done so. Inhale, bring your arms up over your head. Exhale, bring your hands in front of your heart again. You're going to fold forward. You could fold to that chair. Maybe walking back a little bit so the arms are more straight, and you can let the head come down between the hands, between the arms. Or if you come further towards the floor, hands to the thighs, the shins, again, a block for some stability, or all the way to that dangling position. Take a few breaths here. Again, feel free to move. Just sort of feeling what feels nice in your body. As you're ready, just the same as before, press into your heels, and on an inhale, you're going to roll yourself up to the sky. You could press into your prop, you could press into your chair, you can let your arms be heavy, or you can sweep your arms out and up if you like. Exhale. Bring your hands now back behind you. Interlace your fingers. If your fingers don't like to interlace, you could try grabbing a wrist or taking the hands to the opposite elbow, or this is where a strap or facsimile of strap comes in really handy. You can bring the hands behind you and hold on to the strap. And all you're going to do here is soften the knees a little bit and lift the arms until you feel a stretch at the center of your chest. See if you can avoid rounding forwards into a back bend. You don't need to go there yet. You just want to stretch the fronts of the shoulders so your posture otherwise stays pretty kind of stable and optimal. You're reaching out through the crown of your head as you reach the hands behind you. And the distance between the hands is totally up to you. What feels stretchy at the fronts of your shoulders? What can you hold for another deep breath? And then go ahead and gently release. If you're using a strap, you can just move it out to the side. Inhale again, bring your arms up over your head. And this time as you exhale, you're going to fold forward, hands to the chair if you're using that, hands to the floor, hands to your block. Inhale, find a bit of a halfway lift, so hands up to a place where you can align your spine. Oops, I don't have enough space there. Parallel with the floor more or less. And then as you exhale, you'll place your hands to the floor, your hands to the chair, or your hands to the block. And what you're going to do here is step your left foot back into a lunge position. I don't care how far apart your feet are, if you're really close together in that lunge position, or if you're really far back and you're totally unsupported. All that I ask is your front knee works to be over your front ankle, and that is going to stay stable through the entirety of this little portion of standing poses. You could use your chair for balance. You could use your block or two blocks for balance, or you can go all the way down to the floor here. And my back foot may have disappeared from view, but it's just straight forward and straight back. When you find your positioning, take a moment, reach through the crown of your head forward. As you inhale, you work to find a bit of a cow shape in your spine. You round your shoulders back. You lift the center of your chest. And as you exhale, you find that cat shape. You pull the belly back and you round forward. Don't move your front knee. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. We'll do a few more like that. Inhaling to lift. And exhaling to move forward. If you're a little lower, it might look a little more like this. No kitty. One more breath here. And then come back to where you started, back to your lunge position. If you are low to the floor, you might leave your left hand on the mat, or you might place your left hand on a block on the inside of your right foot, and you're going to twist over to your right. Your right hand can come to your hip, your right arm can come up into the sky. Shrug your shoulders back. If you happen to be using a chair, you might leave your left hand on the chair as you twist to the right. Right hand can come to the thigh, the hand to the hip, or the arm also to the sky. I like to reach mine diagonally back if I'm on the chair. I feel like that's more stable for my body and my shoulders. It feels better. Take a few deep breaths here. As you inhale, think about elongating through your spine, reaching the crown of your head up or forward depending on your positioning. And as you exhale, pull your belly button a little bit back towards your spine. Create more space for that rotation here. One more deep breath. As you inhale next, you rotate back to the center line. Here, you can keep your back heel lifted, or you could step a little bit in and set your back heel on the floor. We're going to come to a bit of a pyramid pose. Hands could be, again, to the chair. Hands could be down by the floor or on blocks. You straighten your right leg a little bit. And you start to lean a little more forward. I like to rest, if I'm using the chair, my forearms on the back of the chair and then my head on the chair. You can also hold on to the seat of your chair if you have a little more flexibility. You can scooch back if you need to. If you're closer to the floor, you might have a longer stance here. You might have your hands on a block. You might have your hands all the way to the floor. You might have a perfectly straight front leg, or you might have quite a bend in that front knee. It's not important as long as your hip feels good on that right side. Squeeze your inner thighs together here. Shrug your shoulders back regardless of your positioning. Again, you could tuck your chin a little towards your chest. couple of different options as you come out of this pose. If, like me, you are down on the floor and you're comfortable with a downward facing dog, you might soften your right knee, plant your hands down, and step your feet back, coming to downward facing dog for a few breaths. If you like downward facing dog, you could pedal your feet a few times or sway your hips. If you are using the chair, you're not comfortable coming down to downward facing dog, you might decide instead to step your back foot forward, walk your feet back, and come back to that chair dog stretch. Arms a little straighter, knees a little softer, head heavy between the arms to stretch out the shoulders. And both of these poses stretch deeply into your pectoral muscles, the fronts of your shoulders. Spend a few breaths. If you have that half vinyasa in your practice, you are more than welcome to add that now. Or you can just take it gentle and slow today. When you are ready from your chair dog or from your downward facing dog, you simply walk your feet forward and come back to standing. If you're coming from downward facing dog, you'll have to walk your feet in and then roll yourself up as we were doing earlier. Heavy arms or fire arms out to the sides. On an exhale, bring your hands in front of your heart and just take a deep breath. As again, you relax your shoulders away from your ears, you soften your knees a little bit. As you're ready, inhale, bring your arms up over your head again. As you exhale, you're going to fold back forward, doing the same thing on the other side. So if you're using the chair, you plant your hands on the chair. This time you're going to step your right foot back into that lunge position. If you prefer to be closer to the floor, you can step your right foot back into the lunge position here. Hands could come all the way to the floor, or for this first part, the hands can also rest on the thigh. As you inhale, you're going to find your cow position, shrugging your shoulders back. As you exhale, you're going to find your cat position. Again, you're working for your front knee not to move so much so that you really feel some work in your hips. You can do this with stability, hands to the floor, hands to a block. Hands onto that chair. Works in any of those positions. Again, the range of motion is not at all important. It's just that you feel your body moving and it feels good to move it. Feels beneficial. A couple more like this. Don't know if you can hear it, but my camera phone is quite close to the window and it is hailing tiny little baby hails outside here at my house. Last deep breath. And then we pick up the twist, so the front knee stays over the front ankle. The right hand could be on the chair. The right hand could be on the floor or on a block. You twist to your left hand could come to your thigh, your hand could come to the hip, your arm could come into the sky. Again, this is a really nice place for forearm onto the chair if you're that far forward. This is a great place to use a block if you're a little closer to the floor. And as you hold that twist, again, as you inhale, you reach forward or upward with the crown of your head so your spine feels like it's just getting this gentle tug and getting lengthened. And then as you exhale, you pull your belly button a little back in so you can rotate a little deeper. Last deep breath here. This is your inhale. And as you exhale, you're going to come back towards your lunge position. Hands to the prop or floor of your choice. You'll start to straighten your front leg a little bit, finding that pyramid pose. Remember, you can always set your back heel down at about a 45-degree angle if that feels more comfortable, more stable. And maybe here you fold forward a little bit, stretching the back of your left thigh. You can use the seat of the chair. You could use your hands on the floor or your hands on your blocks. The purpose here is just to stretch the back of the left leg, the left outer hip. Squeeze your inner thighs gently together. Hello. You can go ahead and stay where you are. I'm going to access my washcloth quickly. Take another deep, full breath wherever you happen to be. And then again, just as we did on the other side, you can step your feet together and come to your version of forward fold or chair dog. Or if you're closer to the floor and you like that downward facing dog position, you can plant your hands down, turn your back foot to face straight forward and back, and step both of your feet to the back of the mat. If you choose to take that downward facing dog or to be distracted by cat warfare, you can always add a half vinyasa in there if you would like. I'll move my chair out of the way so I can join you. From your downward facing dog, you pull forward to plank. Knees up or knees down, you can lower yourself to the floor. So you inhale, you can untuck your toes and find your cobra or your upward facing dog. As you exhale, you can go back and find your downward facing dog. If you notice that little cat altercation, it was all to gain some access to the chair that they're not normally allowed to sit on this cushion. When you're ready, you can walk or step your feet forward from whatever position you're in, rolling your spine up to the sky as you are ready. On an exhale, you bring your hands in front of your heart and you take a deep, full breath. Relax your shoulder. Relax your jaw. Feel the space around your eyes growing soft. And again, listen for your own breath. Feel your own breath. As you're ready, bring your gaze forward, relax your hands, and you will make your way to, again, a comfortable seat for your body. Whatever that happens to look like as you make your way to that seat. I am removing small felines from positions of danger. And that's danger to my curtains, not danger to them. And as you come to your seated position here, you are going to be either in your chair, I'm going to use my chair here, or you could be down on the floor, and it doesn't matter how you sit, cross-legged, legs out in front of you. If you want to have a furry visitor in your lap, that's totally fine. We're just going to do a couple of shoulder stretches here. So when you find your seat and you feel stable and comfortable again, you're not distracted by the rest of your body, you're going to relax your shoulders. Maybe even move your head a little side to side. Start with just a gentle neck stretch here. As you're ready, reach your arms up over your head on an inhale. And as you exhale, you're going to lean a little over to your right. You can bring your right hand onto your thigh. You can bring your right hand and hold onto your chair if you're sitting in a chair, or onto the floor if you're on the floor. And just take this little bit of a side bend here. I like to hold the leg of my chair if I'm sitting in a chair. You can turn to look up if that feels nice. Soften your shoulders. As you inhale, you're going to come back to center, reach your left arm straight up, and then reach your left hand over to hold on to your right ear. And then all you're going to do is just gently guide the neck a little bit over to the left to find a stretch. Play with the placement of your right hand. It can be wherever it assists you in finding a good stretch. You can angle the neck Little looking down, maybe looking to the center line. Find a place that feels really good for your body. To get out of this, you want to press your head upwards into your hand and lift back to the midline. And then release that left hand down to the side. On an inhale, you'll bring your arms overhead again. And on your exhale, you're going to lean a little over to your left. Again, you could place your hand on your thigh, your hand on the floor if you're closer to the floor. You can hold the chair if you're in the chair. You can relax your shoulders. Looking up is totally optional. That just happens to feel nice to my neck today. Feel that stretch through your rib cage. And then inhale, come back to the center line. Now you're going to cross your right hand to your left ear and gently guide the neck a little bit to the side. And depending on how tight your neck is, it might be a few inches or it might be quite far. You might have to adjust a little bit. Play ever so gently. Move cautiously here. These are really strong muscles that can get very tense. Play around with the placement of your left hand. That totally changes the whole stretch. As you are ready, press your head into your hand. So you're using the strength of your neck muscles to come back up. Release your hand over to the side, and if you like, you can kind of roll your shoulders a little bit, move things around. And then here, you're going to stretch your arms out in front of you. If your seat has become uncomfortable, feel free to adjust it at any time. We're going to stay seated for a few more moments here. You're going to cross your right arm on top of your left arm. And then you can pull your right arm across the body. That might feel like a nice stretch. Or you might prefer to take the backs or the fronts of your hands together, a little more of an eagle stretch. Find the spot that feels really nice between your shoulder blades. You could stay right here, or you could begin to look a little down towards your elbow crooks. You could round a little bit forwards into a fold to really get into those neck muscles here. Take a few deep breaths, enjoying stretch. As you're ready, I'm going to lift back up. If you fold a little forward, bring your gaze forward. Unwind your arms, and here what you want to do is take your right hand behind your back. Back of the hand will touch onto your lower back somewhere, and then you might take your left hand around and hold on to your right hand. And if it feels good, you can pull your right hand over and across. Could even come to the hip crease over here. You could even interlace your fingers, and then as you do that, relax your shoulders. You might even look a little over to the right and nod your chin a little towards your chest. And take another deep breath here. And making your way back to the center line first. Unwind your arms again if you need to mobilize your shoulders at all. Any little movements you need to take before we go to the other side. Here, as you reach your arms in front of you, the left arm comes on top, and the left arm could pull across the body. That might be the place where you feel that good shoulder blade stretch. Or maybe the arms come backs of hands-ish together, or fronts of hands possibly together. See what works for your body. And this could be plenty. You could just stay with this stretch here. If you need to add on, you might come a little forward, chin to chest. Rounding a little bit, it's kind of like what we were doing earlier in our cat pose. The belly comes a little towards the spine. Only this time it's really soft. It's all just about elongating the muscles. I like to think of this as kind of like reshaping a sweater. You wash it and it, it gets a little funky looking, and you have to lay it down and just kind of move everything back into the right place, and then you have to let it sit like that for a little bit. Basically what we're doing with our stretches here today. Moving things where we want them to be and letting them kind of settle into that place. When you are ready, unwind your arms. And now you're going to take your left hand behind your back. The back of the hand rests somewhere on your tailbone or your hip. And then your right hand come around behind too. And if your hands don't join, that's fine. You can just sit with both of your hands behind you. This is just opening up now the front head of the shoulder. Or you can grab on to that left hand and pull it over to the right hip. You could interlace your fingers if that feels good. Maybe you look a little over towards your left shoulder or nod your chin a little towards your chest to get into the neck. When you are ready, looking back to the center line, releasing your arms. And here, go ahead and roll your shoulders a few times backwards and a few times forwards. And here we're going to move down to the floor and finish off this class with a couple of restorative inspired poses. Again, if you don't want to come down to the floor, you could do any of these things lying on your couch or lying on your bed. Again, we're going to get into this slowly. We're going to take a little time in each of these places, so there's no rush to get to where you're going. You can always take a look and then set yourself up in a moment here. If you're using a chair, you can get up, just move your chair out of the way. And then for this next posture, you'll want your bolster or cushion perhaps. We're going to do a little Supta Baddha Konasana. So we're going to put the soles of our feet together so we can open up our hips and our lower backs. Again, you can do this lying on the floor or lying on a couch or bed if that feels better. Set your bolster about 2/3 of the way down towards the end of the mat or the end of your bed. And then what you're going to do is take your knees over that bolster, over that prop, and lie yourself back. And as you lie yourself back here, you're going to let your knees slightly come apart. So the soles of your feet come a little closer together. Maybe they even come a little further in. Some people like to place 2 separate props, 2 blocks, 2 stacks of books underneath the knees. You're welcome to do that as well. I like to keep mine kind of a little more of a frog shape, my legs that is. And hopefully you can see all of my legs here, but I have the soles of my feet kind of together, but my legs are not super wide, kind of like a stretching frog. Your arms, your hands can rest wherever feels comfortable to your body. If you get into this position and you think, oh, it hurts here, or I just can't quite get comfortable, don't hesitate to change things around. You can put a blanket underneath your hips. You could put a rolled up towel underneath your neck. You could put a cushion underneath your head. You could throw a blanket over yourself if you're feeling a little chilly. We're going to spend a little bit of time here, so don't hesitate to take the time to actually be comfortable in this position, to relax in this position. As you settle in to a comfortable place here, again, let yourself come back to breath. Return to that attention of breath, the sound of it, the sensation of it. Maybe you even begin to notice the duration of your breath. How long does it take to breathe in? Is that the same or different as the time it takes to breathe out? Allow yourself here to completely relax. Soften your jaw. Feel the space around your heart beginning to unwind, to gently expand. Feel your belly begin to soften. Allow your arms and legs to become pleasantly heavy. Begin to deepen your breath. As you are ready, you could decide to draw your knees in towards your chest. Or place the soles of your feet on the floor and wave your knees back and forth. If you have not yet met him, this is Fat Pants on me right now, and No Pants is the kitty earlier sitting in his chair, or so he thinks, at the beginning of class. Sorry, kitty. If you're drawing your knees into your chest, of course, you could do Apanasana, or you could do soles of the feet up and do a little bit of a happy baby, maybe rocking a little more than I am with this encumbrance on my chest. You decide soles of the feet to the floor, and your bolster or your prop is in the way. Just use your feet to snuggle it out, and the knees a little side to side. And then you don't have to get up here because we're just going to keep lying down. You can take a gentle twist here, and it might be fine just to have the soles of your feet on the floor and gently take your knees over to one side. He's doing whatever it takes to stay in cuddle mode. That might not feel so good. Maybe your knees like to draw a little closer together. You can always place your prop between or underneath your knees, even if you're just lying here and your knees just come a little over to the side and you prop something underneath them. That's perfectly fine. Find a twist that feels really good for your body. It should feel nice for your hips, nice for your shoulders, nice for your mid-back. And take another deep breath in your twist. And then move over to the other side, taking your knees in the other direction. Again, soles of the feet could just go on the floor. Oops, get that out of the way. And you could do this wide knee twist. Do a close knee twist, or just knees over to the side. Maybe a little prop underneath them. And then just kind of tuck the block underneath my leg. And see what feels really lovely for your body. And even here, what is your breath doing? How does your breath feel? As you're ready, bring your knees back to the center. Again, you could hug your knees into the chest or soles of the feet on the floor. You could take some windshield wipers. And from here, we simply move to Shavasana. You could simply extend your legs and your arms long so that you feel comfortable upon your mat, your bed, or your couch. If there is any other pose or shape that your body would like here to complete this practice, you are more than welcome to add that in. Likewise, if there's any other position that is more comfortable, more relaxing for your body, you are more than welcome to be there. You could use your pillow under your head, under your torso, underneath your feet, or again, your knees. The important thing here isn't what this looks like. The important thing is that you are in that place where your body can start to melt. Your body can start to let go of the tensions it has been holding on to. Now, normally I would sit up to talk you through this, but I have this beautiful and very kind cat who is clearly angling for dinner time after this, lying on me, so I'm going to stay here and I will talk you through just a very brief relaxation. As you begin to settle in, take a deep, full breath. And now, become aware of your right hand. Become aware of your right elbow. Become aware of your right shoulder. How does it feel in your neck and the back of your head? Notice your left shoulder, your left elbow, and now notice your left hand. Become aware of any sensation at the center of your chest, at your heart center. Become aware of your belly. Begin to notice how your right hip feels, your right thigh, the sole of your right foot. Become aware of your left hip, and now your left thigh. And now notice the sole of your left foot. Now, see if you can become aware of the entire right side of your body at the same time. Anything that's happening over there on the right, just noticing it all. And now, become aware of that whole left side of your body. And now, become aware of your whole entire body. Right and left, top and bottom, up and down. Notice it all together. Begin to feel what is your body and what is outside of your body. Your mat, your props, potentially your cat. Anything that is not your body. And allow your consciousness, allow your attention to expand now into that space that is not you, into that space around you. And this is a strange time where there may not be anyone else around you. There may not be anyone close at all. See if you can mentally reach out and feel what else is out there. There are other people out there, other beings, animals, plants, minerals. There is a whole world beyond yourself. And even as we are physically distant from each other at this time, we are still all part of the universe. We are still all together. Even though I might not be able to reach out and touch you as if you were on the mat next to me, I can still feel your energy. I know you are there. You might even like to take this opportunity to just mentally reach out to a particular person in your life. Just give them a little love, a little kind thought. Maybe it's a more general kind thought to all around you. And see if you can extend into that space that is not yourself a little bit of the good that is you. Whatever quality in you that is good, and there is so much good in you. Let that extend outwards. Let it permeate the space all around you and continue to expand into the world. sigh out. Beginning to wiggle your fingers and your toes. And turn your head, if you like, a little side to side. And of course, if you like, you could draw your knees back in, do a little sway, do a little cat baby, happy baby, little apanasana. Stretch things out. And as you are ready, you can roll yourself all the way over to one side to rest for a few breaths. Before making your way to any comfortable seat, you could sit up on any of your props, your accessories. If you feel that you don't want to get up and you're feeling quite lethargic, you could stay lying down a little longer if you want. I'm going to sign off here. Wherever you are, bring your hands in front of your heart. And we'll close with our deep breath together, in through the nose, if possible today, out through the mouth, beginning on 3. 1, 2, 3. Namaste. Thank you so much for sharing your practice and your time with me today. I hope you enjoyed the class. Like all of the Facebook Live classes, I will be uploading this onto the website. It does take a couple of hours to get that upload. I have to upload it to YouTube and then onto the website, but it should be there later this evening. And if you enjoyed it, you can do it again anytime. If you enjoyed the classes and you would like to donate, you can also head on over to the website www.yogawithtristiane.com and do that. I have all of the classes that we've been doing up there, as well as a few others, and I'm planning to add some more classes, maybe some shorter classes for those of you that have time constraints as well. Any requests, any questions, any comments, feel free to respond on Facebook or to email or text me. You can, of course, call me, but as usual, I do not answer my phone, so you will be forced to leave a message, but I will get back to you. Thank you again so much. Have a wonderful evening and a happy rest of your week if I don't see you until Sunday. Next live class, Sunday at 10 a.m.